Hey everybody, welcome to Sew with Joe. Today we are switching gears. Last time we worked on my 20 plus year old jeans, put a couple of patches on to make them a little more functional. This time, getting back to everybody's favorite, the blanket project. We're going to be adding this piece. So I have already gone in and pinned everything. As it works best to do this on a flat surface when you are doing your pinning and lining everything up. Lay it down on the ground or a large table or something and go from there. Alright, let's get into it. I've got a little bit of black thread left over from yesterday or from last episode. So I'm going to start with black and then switch over to the red. I'm going to trim a little bit of this back because I did get a bit much overlap. Okay, cheers. Okay. Start in the middle, work our way out. And for those who haven't been here before, that's my wife Sarah. She brings me morning decaffeinated coffee. And a cookie. Yeah, using a nice long cushion needle. It's just easier to grab. You know, if you have arthritis or something, or just having a hard time with the tiny needles, find a big one. This one came from a package, I think it was from Kmart, 1987 or something. I opened up the package on one of these videos a while back. So, using a blanket stitch, and for that you have to make sure you tighten it up as you go along. It goes in a little loose. And then you just got to make sure everything's snug. Snug, 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 snug. A little more cover. So, good world news today. This is interesting. It's a prototype, so it doesn't do a whole lot yet, but there are big plans for it in the future. Apparently there is a factory in Iceland which has the sole purpose of removing carbon from the atmosphere. Somehow filters carbon out there's CO2 out, and then pulls the carbon out of the CO2, and then sends that carbon deep, deep underground, where it bonds with other minerals and stays there. So all this carbon that's in the atmosphere is getting pushed deep down into the earth for long-term storage. Now, I don't understand the technology. But I find that super interesting, because if they can run these factories and pull carbon out of the atmosphere, then it'd even make up for the countries who aren't being environmentally friendly, and also to make up for the damage that the world has done. Alright, over to red thread. The traditional color of the blanket project. So far there's just one of these factories, and I think it said annually removes about as much carbon as roughly 870 cars would add. So not hugely significant yet. However, they have proof now that it works. And with that, they can get funding, and they can get bigger and be part of saving the world. I love the stuff that's I love the stuff that's on a world level. Cheers. Speaking of world level, and something that can start off on a local level and end up at a world level, and I think this is a really cool story. A college in the States, I'm not gonna name names, I'm not gonna whatever. If you want to look it up, you can look it up. Stuff like that's not important. What's important is the generosity and the message behind it. And what happened at this college is a professor was going through mail, and there was a bit of a backlog of mail because the situation lately has not been the best for being at work. And so he's going through the mail, and he finds this big box that got sent in, and it had been sent in about 9 months previous. So sitting there for 9 months, professor pops open the box, and inside is $180,000 in cash. So, Professor reads the note, and it is sent from Anonymous, which I think is amazing. And basically it was donated by someone who had graduated from that school and had gone on to have a prolific career in, I think it was physics. It was a physics department. And he just wanted to give back. Apparently in the form of $180,000 sent through the mail to his old college. Cheers. So $180,000. And this was a school which apparently produced very brilliant physicists to the tune of Nobel Prize nominees. So at the end, I'm just going to go around a few more times here just to make a bit of a harder edge here. And then tie it off. So I think the article said something like that money will be good for multiple scholarships per year for the next 20 years, I think is how they set it up. So yeah, it would be allowing a lot more people to come to that school who otherwise would not be able to. And that's how you can affect the world, starting on a local level. That's one way. If you help more people get educations, who knows, that person might cure whatever you're dying of. You know. I think the biggest thing there that I like is the anonymity. It's just, I want to give back. I don't want to give a check. I don't want there to be any way of tracing this money back to me. I just want to give it and not have any media attention, any thanks, anything like that. Just take my money and put it to good use, and thank you for doing that. You know, it's selfless. More people, I think, need to be selfless. So many people that do things to try to get famous now, you know, after the whole, I think he's called Mr. Beast, the guy that would just walk up to people and hand them like $30,000 and walk away just for their reaction, and then post it. I mean, that's cool and all. Like, it's cool that he's doing it. He's also getting something from it. You know, if you truly just want to give, Just give. The cool thing with Mr. Beast though is that he's using the money that he gets to keep giving. You know, he doesn't just keep it all for himself. He gives away a lot of money too. Just, you know, whatever he gets in, and now that he's more famous, he's getting more money in. So I don't know. I don't keep track of him anymore. Any idea what he's doing these days? Just an average looking dude calls himself Mr. Beast. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, just walks up to homeless people, hands them tens of thousands of dollars. One other YouTuber I like, I don't know what he's called, but he goes up to people in supercars and super yachts and stuff like that, and just says, "Hey man, I love your car or yacht or whatever. What do you do for a living? You know, what do you do that you could attain this?" And some of the answers are pretty amazing. One that surprised me was there were quite a few realtors. But the interesting part is the realtors that are in these cars are all like the typical blonde bombshell. It's like, yeah, you're a model who's doing realty. How are you making that much money? But realtors make a ton of cash, and I guess if you know how to sell, then yeah, you can make a lot of money. It was neat. There's stuff like guys like, yeah, I'm an investor. I invested in CBD when this whole thing started. He's on this mega yacht. There's one guy in like a Ferrari or something, and he was like a music producer for porn, and just pulling in the cash. And then there's quite a few, the typical lawyers and that sort of thing. $180,000 in a cardboard box. That's wild. So more good world news. And I've seen a few things kind of like this, just starting off on a very small, very local scale. People making bricks out of recycled plastic. And apparently these plastic bricks are actually stronger than concrete bricks, or whatever your normal brick is. And made from waste plastics. So that's pretty amazing. And it's kind of one of those grassroots things, I think. You know, a lot of the really cool ideas start out at a very local level, you know, with individuals making sacrifices, and then it builds from there. You know, you don't just jump into a corporation very easily, very often. You start off making what you're making by hand, and that's how you know what you're making better than anyone else in the world. And just build from there. Something anybody can do. If the idea is there, the passion is there, the time is there, the timing is there, I should say. Yeah. So my mind jumps all over the place. And whenever I think of something that the timing was right, and a better example of this would be when the timing was wrong, and how it may have worked better when the timing is right. The Black Eyed Peas put out a song, and I'm just saying the name of the song, so don't write any nasty comments. The song was called "Let's Get Retarded," and that came right at a time where that word was no longer in fashion, or is just on the way out. So, you know, it was a popular song, you know, decently big, but I think that if the timing had been better and they had released that song a few years before, it probably would have been a lot bigger, because people weren't as sensitive to that word, and they probably wouldn't have had to release a censored version and all this sort of thing. So when I think of things that happened at the wrong time, it shows the wrong time to get retarded with that song. And yeah, the rest is history. But it was still decently popular, you know. Maybe it was more popular because of the controversy, and that it was on a word that was on its way out. Who knows? Maybe I'm just wrong. It has happened before. Probably will happen again. Alright, well, we've got that line done. Let's pull some pins on this project and see how it looks when we lay it out. Alright. Pretty sweet from this side. Ouch. Sorry. And yeah, good on this side too. Got a seam that stayed, so I'm gonna sew this in, and this will be flush if everything works out properly. Yeah, one more piece. One of these days we'll start adding some t-shirts. It's getting bigger. Maybe a quarter into it. Quarter done one side. So yeah, next we'll lay another piece in here, tie it into that one. Keep on keeping on. That, or I do have some work I need to do on the jeans that I'm wearing right now. So we'll, like I said at the beginning of this blanket project, this is going to be a bounce around back and forth, do in between kind of thing. But it is turning out thus far. Well, grab a little sip of coffee. Coffee. Oh, yeah. Thanks so much for joining me again. I do really appreciate the time we get to spend together. And yeah, I'm enjoying this project. I really am. Till next time, keep chilling. Don't forget your cookie. Peace.